Hello, happy St. Patty's Day. It is March 17th and it's Monday, so I am recording this early for the Friday episode for my Patreon and Spotify Premium subscribers. As part of their $5, they get most of the episodes early, if I can make it early, as well as their 3 bonus episodes, so a month. So here we go. I was drinking, not anymore, at this time of day. We are in the afternoon, even though I could use another cup of coffee. But I was drinking. I had to finish the Bananas Foster Java Mama. So I finished that, and then I added a scoop of that and then a scoop of Sweet Surfer. And actually, it was pretty good, because Sweet Surfer is the vanilla and sweet cream, and then the Bananas Foster together. It actually was pretty good. Sometimes I do that. If I'm almost out of one, I'll mix it with another. And then so right now I'm just drinking my Body Armor Fruit Punch that I have, the sugar-free, for my hydration, because I am so thirsty. And today, Java Mama St. Patty's coffees are 10% off. Just to let everybody know that. Okay. Now, I want to thank Jill for this suggestion. This is one case I cannot believe and that I have not heard of. I've never heard it on another podcast that I can remember, and I've never heard it mentioned anywhere about this case at all. Especially because it was around Halloween. Now, yes, I know it's St. Patrick's Day right now, but I'm doing a case around Halloween. Because usually, you know how a lot of podcasts will do a Halloween episode, and I think I did one too. I've never heard this one. So this is Lisa Ann French. My sources are people.com, medium.com, wikipedia.org, and casemine.com. And those are in no particular order. Lisa Ann French was born June 2nd of 1964 in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Her parents are Alan French and Marianne Gehrig. I did not read where they were married. So the reason why I'm mentioning that is because they eventually split up. And I did not read about a divorce. So they split up, and Lisa lived with her mother in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, along with her stepfather, Bruce DePau. And she also had a new baby brother, half-brother. Her mother mentioned that one day Lisa came home from school and told her mother that there was another girl in school who did not have any nice clothes to wear. So she wanted to go through hers. And she took a big bag of clothes to school for the little girl. She was always like that, very kind to people. So that was just very nice to hear that. A little girl in like whatever grade she was in at the time. She went to elementary school and did this. So in 1973, she was in 4th grade at Chegwin, Chegwin elementary school. And she was also a Girl Scout. On Halloween, she dressed as a hobo with a black felt hat, green parka, jeans with blue masking tape, and she dotted freckles on her cheeks. Now, she had a friend named Ann Parker who was supposed to accompany her, and they were, for some reason, her friend Ann was grounded. And I remember being little, and Halloween, I lived for Halloween and Christmas. I kind of still do. But anyway, if I was little and I got in trouble, I don't think my parents would ground me on Halloween. They would still let me go, because that like comes once a year. So they would still let me go, and then I'd probably end up being grounded afterwards. So I'm like, this is a little harsh, I would think. But they were supposed to go to some outdoor party at some place called Pumpkin Place. Sounds like a place I'd love to go. It was on Bank Street. Well, I think because Ann Parker was grounded, Now, Lisa Ann French trick-or-treated on her own. Now, this was 1973. It was a different time. She was 9 years old. I'm not sure exactly if her parents knew she was by herself. I think they did. Because when I read it, I wasn't sure if when she was on her way to meet Ann Parker and then she found out she had been grounded. I'm not sure if that's what happened or if her parents already knew that she was. I'm not sure exactly how it went. I'd be crushed if I was grounded on Halloween. I think my life would come to an... Well, I don't want to say that. I'm so sorry. I just scratch what I just said. I would just be like, no. I'd be so depressed. I'd feel like all the joy was gone. But anyway, put that aside for now. It was, like I said, it was a different time. She trick-or-treated and went to some of her classmates' homes and one of her teachers. I don't think she went very far. Meanwhile, Marianne, her mother, was getting worried. Lisa's curfew was at 7 o'clock, and she was way late. So people started searching for Lisa around 10 o'clock that night. Now, this went on for 4 days. The search did. 5,000 volunteers, her Girl Scout troop, 700 block parents. I'm thinking that's in the neighborhood. And police officers in the National Guard. I think that 700 is block parents and police officers. That's just how I've got it written. And the National Guard, they all searched for this little girl. Like I said, 5,000, I think it was over 5,000 volunteers. On November 3rd of 1973, Gerald Braun is a farmer, and he got home on his tractor at 11:30 a.m. in Taycheedah, Wisconsin. And this was on McCabe Road. By a forest, he found, behind a barbed wire fence, 2 plastic bags. One bag had the clothes that Lisa wore on Halloween, and in the other bag was her nude body. A $1,000 reward was offered to find Lisa Ann French's killer. They questioned everyone on Lisa's trick-or-treat journey and came across neighbor Gerald Miles Turner Jr. Now, there's 2 Geralds in here. The first one I will not mention again. That's the one that found her body. He was Gerald Braun. This man's name is Gerald Turner. He lived with his girlfriend, Arlene Penn, and they had a baby girl. He shared a duplex with the Frenches and had once sexually molested a 15-year-old babysitter, and this was the year before this. This was not on record as far as I found out, because I would think if he would have done that, he would not be free. I don't know, unless it was just rumored and they couldn't prove it. I'm not sure. Like if he was maybe brought in and it wasn't rumored, or maybe the girl didn't press charges. I'm not sure. But Lisa would spend time with his family and even the baby girl. She even spent time over there. They shared a duplex. They were neighbors. Turner ended up a suspect. And after 9 months of interviews and testing of hair and fibers from his bedspread, he confessed. He did not take a polygraph before the confession because of the babysitter incident. And I think that must have happened way before he ended up confessing. He claimed to be sexually motivated when Lisa came to his door, a 9-year-old. She came to his door trick-or-treating. He took her to his bed. Now, trigger warning here. I forgot to mention that. He took her to his bedroom and raped her anally. He said she stopped breathing, so he tried to revive her. By then, Arlene was coming up the driveway, and he had to get rid of Lisa. Arlene had been at a party at the Pumpkin Place, which was where Lisa was going. And she got home about 7 o'clock. And this was, it sounds to me like when Lisa was on her trick-or-treat route, that she ended up there because 7 o'clock was her curfew. So maybe this was going to be her last stop. She said Gerald was in a bathrobe. Arlene said Gerald was in a bathrobe and he was saying that he was sick. And he kept going to the bedroom to lie down. Lisa's body was in the bathroom at this time. I don't know if they had one, just if they had two bathrooms or what, because you would think, usually when I get home from somewhere, I got to use the bathroom. But Arlene left at 8 o'clock to go visit her mother, so she had been there an hour, and I would think that she would have used the bathroom in that time. So I'm thinking that they have two bathrooms. Arlene left at 8 o'clock to go visit her mother when Gerald Turner stuffed Lisa's body into a bag and then her clothes in a second bag. He dumped her in the farm field in Taycheedah, and he also wore socks on his hands when he moved Lisa's body and wiped down her shoes and parka zipper. Autopsy showed that Lisa died of asphyxiation and circulatory shock from the trauma. And circulatory shock is like if you're hyperactive breathing, like you're hyperventilating, which could, for her, she went into cardiac arrest. I can't imagine, her going through that. It's so sad. But he was convicted on February 4th, 1975, on second-degree murder, sexual perversion, and enticing a child for immoral purposes. 38 years and a 6-month sentence. Not death, not life. 38 years and 6 months. I have no idea how that happened. He served his time at Waupun, if that's right, Waupun, Correctional Institution. I hate to butcher names like this, but I have no idea how to pronounce that. And this was in the early 70s, so you would think, I always thought punishment was more harsh on these people. Gerald Turner was first paroled in 1992 for good behavior. Just to make it worse, he only served 17 years and 8 months before he was paroled for this little girl's senseless death. And oh my God, he was living in Milwaukee in a halfway house, and residents were outraged. Not only Milwaukee residents, but Lisa's family, along with other members of her community. Now, from this response and this outrage, a law was created on May 26th, 1994, called Turner's Law. Now, this is 2 years later, after he made parole. Turner's Law is a sexual predator law. Wisconsin Chapter 980 is what it's called. So I'm gonna mention that later on, but that's Chapter 980 by Wisconsin Governor Tommy Thompson. The law allows criminals who have been paroled or released from prison sentences to be detained in mental institutions if they are deemed to have a substantial probability of committing another crime. Well, he was back in prison on November 23rd of 1993 after an appeal ruled that the Department of Corrections made an error on calculating his mandatory parole release. So they made an error, and here he was out. Now, how scary is that to me? I mean, really, it's okay. He had a 4-day trial in January of 1998, and he was ruled not a violent sexual predator and could be held at a treatment center under Turner's Law, which meant he would start his second parole that year. There was an attempt to revoke that parole, but the judge ruled against it, even though he shouted and waved a butcher knife at his caseworker in one incident at his halfway house. Oh no, he's not dangerous. Let's just wave around a butcher knife. A psychiatrist even claimed that he was still dangerous. I don't know where this judge's head was. But Gerald Turner also filed a complaint against Waste Management of Madison, Wisconsin, for not hiring him because of his criminal record. Well, boo frickin' who. So, they had to come to an agreement and hire this no-good scumbag bastard due to a former Wisconsin law not allowing companies to consider criminal convictions when hiring former criminals unless the crime is related to the applying job. Now, oh boy. Okay, the company argued that Gerald Turner would have access to dangerous chemicals when they have children coming in on field trips. And I think I read that they had 15 of these tours the previous year. So they have a lot of tours like that. And with him handling dangerous chemicals, that's what they argued. Well, fortunately, the law was changed in October of 1999. And this is this is almost 2 years after his trial. Oh, wait a minute. A year and a half, probably. My math again. So the law was changed in October 1999 so that employers would refuse to hire convicted criminals without further complaints. They could refuse. And I think that, to me, I get that. I really do. Gerald Turner was then returned to prison for 15 more years, added to his sentence in 2003, since he had pornography material in his possession, and that violates parole. So, he had 15 more years added. Why he's been out, I don't get it. This is a horrible crime. Anyway, he was scheduled to be released in February of 2018 from Racine Correctional Institution without parole restrictions. Lisa's mother started an online petition to keep Gerald Turner incarcerated in a treatment facility. Over 34,000 signatures were obtained. And the Wisconsin Department of Justice filed a legal petition on January 26, 2018, to make the case that he should remain incarcerated at a mental treatment facility under Chapter 980. So, boy, a lot of fighting on this one. He was moved to a treatment center while he waited on a hearing to determine if he was a violent sex offender. So then he would permanently reside in a treatment center if he was found to be a violent sex offender. And after the postponing and appeals on hearing locations, there was appeals because they wanted to change where the hearing was. You know how they change like location of a trial because they think it's going to be prejudice that he's in the same area where he committed the crime. So they had appeals on that, and then COVID came in. So then he's still put away. He's still put away in the treatment center. But after all this happened, February 23rd of 2022, Gerald Turner's release was denied. He was condemned to stay in a high-security mental health facility. I don't know if that's forever or, let me see, he was sentenced to 38 years, which is, to me, that's a joke, in 1975. And he had 15 years added to that. So 53 years, 54, something like that, 53, 54 years. Okay, so he's been in there 50 years now. Well, 1975 was when the crime happened. Or, I'm sorry, 1975 is when he's convicted, and it was in February. So, like I said, my math here, I'm going by my age with this. That was 50 years ago. So, I'm hoping he don't get out in 4 years or 5 years. I did not get his age. That's one thing I did not get when I was looking all of this up. Well, I'm sure he was young when he had the child. He had a baby. So I'm thinking he had to have been right around my parents' age. So 4 more years, I would think he's got to be in his 80s, at least. You know? maybe 70s. It depends on how old he was when this happened. That's one thing I did not get. But he wrote a letter to Lisa French that was not dated. But it was after her death he wrote this letter. Okay, I quote this. I'm quoting this here. I doubt that I could ever fully realize the terror you experience at my hands. I can still see... Okay, wait a minute. I doubt that I could ever fully realize the terror you experienced at my hands. I can still see you standing in the doorway with that felt hat, beaming at having recognized me. Then I see the delight in your eyes turn to fear as I close the door behind you. The rest of my life, I will have to live with what I did to you. On that night, I became a monster. I do swear to you on the forfeiture, if I could say that right, it's like forfeiture of my life, that I will never harm another child. I don't believe that, but... And then he also made the remark, not in the letter, but he made a separate remark that if this crime happened on another day instead of Halloween, let's say, for example, Valentine's Day, this is what he said. Nobody would care. No, that's not right. People would care because this is a murder of a child. It doesn't matter if it happened on Halloween. It doesn't matter what day it happened. I don't know where he got that, how that spewed out of his mouth. I don't understand. This case really made me so damn mad. And I know you could probably tell from my rants here, and I'm so sorry, but this is just BS that this guy did not get. In my opinion, he should have been put to death because there's no excuse for this. There's no excuse for this. And that should not, in my opinion, not have been second-degree murder because he took her in there and raped her. I mean, the rape, I'm thinking the rape of the babysitter. Their charges weren't pressed or they didn't know about it. Maybe, I'm not sure. I never found out, but oh my gosh. This is the story of Lisa Ann French. And I am so sorry that this was not a good, none of these are good. None of these are good. But this little girl trusted him. She knew him, you know. It's like when this happens with family members that do this to little girls. You trust your family members. Like her, she trusted him. He had a girlfriend and they had a baby. Why wouldn't you, why would she fear him unless she heard about, the rape? That's why I'm thinking that they didn't know about that. Because I think if her parents especially would have known about that, I don't think they'd want to be living next to him. I know I wouldn't. So like I said, it's very vague on that rape that he did the year before. But anyway, that's the story. Thank you, Jill, for this suggestion, as this is one I've never heard of, and I don't even think it's well known. And I'm so glad because I really like those. And if anybody has any other suggestions, you can always email me or get a hold of me on Instagram or Facebook. I have everything, or X. I have everything in the show notes. I also have the Kelly's Coffee and Crime Chat YouTube page. Let me think. I'm trying to think of if I'm probably going to end up repeating myself because I always do that on these, it seems like. But I talked about a movie I watched. I'm not sure if I talked about it on the regular podcast, but I did talk about it, I think, in Patreon, if I'm not mistaken. I watched a movie called Speak No Evil. And I'm going to tell you what, it freaked me out. It's a psychological thriller. And, man, I'm telling you what, man, I don't know. It's one that you could probably imagine really happening. Don't go on vacation with people you don't know. Even if people you meet on vacation, do not go anywhere else with them. It's not true. But it's actually a remake. It was made 2 years ago. And it was a Danish version. Now, I was able to watch the Danish version because people said it is horribly, that it's not, it's one that does not have a good ending, and it's one that is more gory, and I'm like, okay, why? Okay, so anyway, I went ahead and watched it, and it's on AMC Plus if anybody's interested. If anybody has that, and I think the newer ones, Speak No Evil, is on another premium channel or streaming channel. I want to say Max or Peacock, or I don't remember which one it is. It's one we have because I saw it advertised on there. The newer one is better. The American one is better. Better acting. Acting is wonderful. Even the kids are awesome in this movie. James McAvoy is about one of my favorite actors, and he is awesome. So the Danish one, of course, I don't know anybody that's famous in it, but it is English speaking. On at least the one on AMC which AMC Plus, which I was shocked. I thought it was going to be subtitled. Well, then I got to thinking, well, maybe it's dubbed, but I was looking, and it doesn't appear to be dubbed. It appears that they are talking in English. Now, there's a couple lines, like when they're talking to each other, the one couple, not the main couple, but the other couple, and they're talking to their kids. There's it must be Danish language, because I don't understand it, and it's not subtitled. So, of course, I did not have the subtitles on, so it could have been maybe if you turn this, maybe, I don't know how that works on AMC Plus because it's on my TV. But I know on a DVD you can add English subtitles or something like that. But the ending is terrible. It's terrible. I recommend the remake. Definitely. I'm surprised. Maybe movies over there, especially when it involves children, it's different than it is over here. Because I don't see a movie showing what they showed over here. I just don't. I mean, the scene is very quick. Even the end of it, I don't see them showing over here. I don't know. It just, I'm like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Why am I watching this? But I was curious to see how different it was. Some people said it was better. Some people said the new one was better. I say the new one's better. Okay. So I say, I don't know. I went and watched the one on AMC, but go ahead and try it if you are curious about the movie. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you think. Wow, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's one that stayed in my mind, and it's still in my mind. Let me think. What else was I going to say? The Happy Face Killer. It's called Happy Face. That series with Dennis Quaid is starting on the 20th, Thursday. I cannot wait for that. And there's something else that's coming on the 20th that I don't remember what it was now. It was another thing that was starting on the 20th I wanted to watch. So we have the Happy Face Killer, or it's just called Happy Face. It's from his daughter's point of view, I guess. So I'm going to have my carpal tunnel surgery coming up in April. I'm going to have some things to watch because I'm probably not going to be doing much of anything else with one hand. I'm having one hand done at the beginning of the month and the other hand done about middle of the month. So, that's about all that's going on. I don't think I had anything else to report on as far as TV shows and whatever I had that I was watching. Like I said, I was trying to think of what I had to watch, but like I said, I was watching movies, and I haven't really been watching much of anything else that I haven't talked about before. So anyway, if you have any suggestions for any cases or anything like that, or any series on ID or anything. Oh, I was watching The Frogging. That's what it was. When I listened to Crime and Coffee Couple, and they did a episode on frogging, on this case where some people live in your house and you don't know it, And the case that they talked about was very, very good. But there's a series on Hulu called Frogging, Phrogging. It's called Hider in the House, or Hider in My House, but it's on Frogging. I'm telling you what, that is freaky. Give that a watch. I don't know how I forgot about that because I'm not through it all. I need to go back and continue watching it. So maybe I'll do that after I'm done here. Very freaky. I know a lot of people know the story about Daniel LaPlante in Massachusetts. That's on there. And that was the one that was living in the walls at this house. And these girls thought they had a ghost and thought it was their mother because their mother had died. And the dad didn't believe them. Oh my gosh, that's scary. And what he did after that, they were lucky that they lived through that. But I'm watching it, and these girls grew up in the 80s. And the girl telling the story, she's like, I was boy crazy, and everything she's saying just reminded me of me at that age. I'm like, I was boy crazy too. Boy, I'm lucky I didn't get in trouble. I didn't get that happening to us like she did. Because what she was saying, it was exactly what I would have done. Like, I was young, I was a teenager, I wanted to meet boys, I was just like her. So, I'm just glad we didn't have the internet when I was growing up, because who knows what kind of trouble I would have gotten into. So, that's all for today. Have a wonderful, wait a minute. This won't be out till Friday the 21st, so I hope you had a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. As for my Patreon and Spotify premium subscribers, have a wonderful and safe St. Patty's Day tonight. And have a wonderful week. And I will see you next time.